Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please. It is now time for us to share one of the greatest highlights of every year for USSSA. To be nominated, elected, and then inducted into the USSSA National Hall of Fame is the highest honor that can be bestowed on any player, coach, umpire, sponsor, director, or other participant in the USSSA program. It is a rare honor, reserved for a select few who have impacted the game in the most significant way. The first USSSA Hall of Fame induction ceremony was conducted at the 1979 national meeting. So tonight will be our 35th class of inductees. As of this date, only 177 individuals have received this distinguished honor. Several of our Hall of Fame members are here with us tonight, and their presence is one of the many things that makes this evening so special. So at this time, I'd like to recognize those Hall of Famers who are in attendance and ask that they please stand when their name is called. In the interest of time, I would request that you hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. And please, if I accidentally miss someone, it's a large room, please stand as well. So ladies and gentlemen, the following Hall of Famers have joined us tonight. First in the female player category, Jan Dieters, Brenda Ryan. The male player category, Mike Masinko, Jeff Hall, Brett Helmer, Jeff Wallace, Dennis Rulli, Andy Purcell, Johnny McCraw, and Howie Kraus. In the executive category, Jerry Ellis, Don DiDonatis, Danny Brown, Jim Swint, Robert Boudreau, Tom Turley, Rick Fortuna, Mark Linneman, Kevin Nagley, Joey Odom, Jerry Turnberg, David Evall, Gordon Glennie. In the sponsor category, Travis Rismondo. In the director category, Brenda Paulson, Tammy Totland, Craig Candela, Rick Brockwell. In the manager category, Jackie Hayes, Colleen Needham, Lou Calvisi, Jeff Miller, Chuck Druitz, Frank Webb, Jeff Haig. In the manufacturer category, Jess Held, Hank Bassett, Denny Helmig, Mike McCarron, Don Cooper, Larry Brichette. And in the umpire category, Rick Robertson, John McKinley, John Hart, Dwight Gehring, Dale McGregor, and Chuck Beckwell. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming back these Hall of Famers. Tonight, 9 more individuals will join this very elite group. Upon their induction, each inductee will be presented a framed certificate of induction, their Hall of Fame ring, and a specially engraved Hall of Fame bat provided by Worth Sports. We are delighted that Mr. Denny Helbig of Worth Sports is here with us tonight to present each inductee with their bat. And so now, without further ado, let's get the induction ceremonies underway. Our first inductee tonight is in the manager category. He hails from McDonough, Georgia, and he is the man who put the light in Lighthouse. He is Mr. Cecil Alford. And now I would ask everyone to please turn their attentions to the large video screens that you'll see on my left and my right, so we can learn a little bit more about Cecil's great softball career and some of the great teams he managed.
Well, when I was real young, I started off playing in sandlot ball when I was real young. And majored mostly in softball and baseball. Did some football, but it was mostly softball and baseball. Some 30 years ago, I played in the first USSSA. But it was a first-time deal there in Georgia for that tournament. And I played with Norm Bryan, which he's with USSSA. And in fact, I think it was 50 and over tournament. And so that's how it first started. Actually, when we won the World Championship in Daytona Beach, Florida, in the USSSA, now that was back when there was, it ain't like it is today, you know, they only have maybe 3 or 4 real super teams, but back then, when you showed up to play, you better be ready to play because there was about 10 to 15 super teams that was always good. I have reached a point in my softball career to be inducted into the USSSA Hall of Fame is, to me, the USSSA is one of the top softball associations. It impacted my whole family really because my wife was involved also, and my 2 sons. I would have to thank Worth Sports, which I think that Mr. Parish is going to be here. He's with World Sports, and he is being inducted. And they were the only sponsorship that I had, where most of these other teams that was on our level of play had multi-sponsorships because of the money and stuff that was involved. I couldn't wait to tell a lot of people and friends of mine of what was happening. And I've seen a lot of them here even today. And I don't know, it's just been awesome.
And now to tell us a little bit more about Cecil, his son, Mr. Barry Alford.
I just want to say thanks to USSSA for recognizing a man who I believe was good for the game and this association. In 1982, when Dad started Lighthouse as a church softball team until he retired in 1998 as a super major team, he won 8 national championships in 15 years. The 1997 USSSA World Series was the one that was most important to him. That trophy still sits in his office today, the only one. Dad's strong determination allowed him to accomplish these goals. It also got him here tonight. As many of you know, Dad's been under the weather, and I told him the other day that if he couldn't make it, that I would come up here and accept his award for him. And he told me that he didn't care if he was half dead, he was going to be here. So anyway, he's here. So anyway, again, I just want to thank USSSA for this great honor for my dad. And my family and I, we are very appreciative and proud of him. And congratulations, Dad.
Well, I am here. I got a little deal here that I kind of wrote out, but I'm gonna start off by saying that, you know, it took a lot of determination on not only my part, but on my family's part, my wife and my children, to get me here. Because I go through a lot of different things in my daily walk. But the Lord's been good to me. And I thank Him every day for the grace, for the strength, and the way He's taken care of me even though I have these problems. Determination is a word that's used in different ways. But I believe that the human spirit in a person's mind and soul will go a long, long way if they really bear down and let the good Lord help them. With all that said, let me say that USSSA has really meant a lot to me in all of my softball. I played a lot of USSSA ball in my younger days, played a lot of church ball. In fact, we got so good with our church program till we started getting these guys coming to church that wasn't really there for the church. They were there to play ball. So needless to say, we started getting protests because we had players that just wasn't staying up with the rules and everything, and it was kind of hard for me to make that decision to go open, you know, but I finally had to do that because I had a meeting with the good Lord, and He advised me that it'd be best that if I just went ahead and gave the church program up and went ahead and played open ball. So we did that, and you know, everything turned out pretty good, except one thing. We were so good in the church ball to where the open teams, they had to gear up to play a church team that could play with the major teams, because we could actually play the team that we had with the bigger teams that was really much more talented maybe, or had a lot more sponsorship backing than we had. But through it all, I'm here tonight, and I just praise the Lord and want to thank USSSA. And I think that way down deep, that this is probably, not probably, but is the best in softball to be hooked up with the USSSA program. I want to thank Worth Sports. They have been with me. They were with me for all the years that I had my team. They backed me completely all the way through the years that we had our team. And even after then, they have been a real strong supporter of the Lighthouse team. And all the players, a lot of players here tonight that have played on my team, and a lot of people I've met that have seen this week that I hadn't seen in a long time. But with all that said, let me just say to y'all, God bless y'all, and I hope that y'all have a wonderful, wonderful time here. And play that USSSA ball.
Cecil, I'm going to read the first plaque here. To whom it may concern, this witnesses that Cecil Alford, upon the nomination of the National Hall of Fame Election Committee and election by the governing body of the United States Specialty Sports Association, is hereby inducted as a member of the United States Specialty Sports Hall of Fame. In testimony whereof the Executive Board of the United States Specialty Sports Association has caused these presents to be signed by the appropriate officials and authorizes this high honor to be recognized forever in the United States Specialty Sports Association Hall of Fame, inducted on the 22nd day of November in the year 2013.
Thank you, Cecil. Oh, yeah.
Well deserving. Well deserving.
I'd like to be able to open it up and look at it.
I can do that for you.
Put it on my finger.
There you go, buddy.
See, folks?
Meant to be.
Our second inductee into the Hall of Fame tonight is in the director category. He hails from St. James, New York, and he is Mr. Rick Mars. Now again, I direct everyone's attention to the video screens so we can learn a little bit more about Rick's many contributions to USSSA, to Long Island, and to the game of softball.
Sports, I have to go back to the days when I was playing with Dad, backyard, probably about 3 or 4 years old, my first glove, just having a catch. And then as I played Little League, I was fortunate to play school ball through high school and through college. We were an independent umpires group in the town of Smithtown. We decided to join U-Trip, bring all our teams, umpires into the program, and I'm proud to say Smithtown's been a member of USSSA from 1974 to the present day. To be among so many great athletes and directors and leaders of the USSSA over all these years, it's just a tremendous honor. USSSA softball, nothing can compare to it. The number of programs we have, the different levels of play, the rules, they all make great sense. And that's why I think the players and the teams embrace USSSA, and that has really made our lives easier as directors. I have to thank my family for putting up with the craziness that goes on with being out, all the time with tournaments and league meetings, et cetera. My staff and directors, again, I've been doing this for quite a few years, and seeing the young ones come up and so willing to learn and participate and do what's best for the teams, I need to thank all of those directors. The USSSA, I mean, Don's vision and the executive board's vision has brought this program to new heights. I used to be 100% slow pitch softball. Now I'm involved with baseball, fast pitch, golf, and I love golf. And the junior program, that Robert's put together is just tremendous. And I think it's infused a new life in myself and in new things we can do. It's just been a lot of fun.
And now to tell us a little bit more about Rick, I am pleased to introduce his friend and a member of the New York USSSA Hall of Fame, Mr. Peter Eaton.
Good evening. Rick Mars and I go back 40 plus years. Rick started in softball back in the late 60s when USSSA was in its infancy. And a handful of people with a vision started USSSA. It grew, and it's still growing, as Rick said in his bio. Rick is a man who it's difficult to capture in a few minutes what he's accomplished. But he's entering his 40th year in 2014 in USSSA. 40 years. And he's still going strong. He worked on senior softball on Long Island 3 years ago and now has 20 teams. He has physically challenged programs started on Long Island. Wheelchair softball he's working on. And these are the things you don't know about Rick because he just does them. And he does them because he cares. You don't spend 40 years at something if you don't care about it. And I liked it so much when I met him, and so what the work ethic was, I hired him. And he works for us on Long Island in softball, anything softball. You can send Rick to anything that's pertaining to softball, whether it's the 80-year-old league that we have, whether it's the kids just getting started. He should have started at 18, but he was underage. He started at 17. Rick Mars was illegal. But he was so good and such a great guy, we forgave him. 7.5 years ago, I had the honor of introducing him for his induction into the New York State Hall of Fame. I'm equally proud to be part of his induction this evening. The USSSA has helped define Rick, just as his career as an educator, just as being a father and a husband did in his dedication to his family. So I just feel fortunate that we were able to have part of Rick Mars for softball on Long Island and New York State. I thank USSSA for this great honor. I'd like to introduce my friend, Rick Mars.
Thank you, Peter, for all those kind words. Thank you, Don, Danny, Kevin, and the executive board for this tremendous honor. I'd like to congratulate my fellow inductees this evening. Congratulations, well deserved. Don, last year, the Hall of Fame Gala, when you announced the 2013 inductees, I heard my name. It didn't register. I just sat there and said, it didn't register. As my friends at the table started standing up to congratulate me, that's when I finally comprehended what you said. How is it possible that I was to receive this highest and most treasured reward that a director could only dream of achieving? To tell you the truth, I still don't really believe I'm standing here. So many emotions run through me at this moment, and I tell you, they really have been every day for the last year. I'm humbled, I'm excited, totally overwhelmed, but most of all, appreciative. To be inducted into the USSSA National Hall of Fame, to be included among so many outstanding individuals, it's just overwhelming. Over the past 39 years, I've been involved in many different positions within the USSSA programs in New York, and the time and effort it took to secure leagues, run tournaments, develop programs, and work with officials has taken me away from my family on many a night, many a weekend, and without their support over all of these years, tonight would not be happening. Joining me to celebrate this night is my greatest supporter and the love of my life, my wife, Laura. Honey, I could have done without you. I'm trying to do this in the beginning. To my daughters, Nicole, Kimberly, my sister Bonnie, and brother-in-law George, my grandson Anthony, and my future son-in-law Patrick. Thank you for always being there for me and supporting me. I'm so happy that my family friends, Peter, Janie, are here with me tonight. Damian Germain and Tara Germain were supposed to be here. And I just want to make a notation. It was Damian's dad in 1974 who introduced me to USSSA, Mr. Dick Germain, Superintendent of Recreation for the town of Smithtown. And really, without Dick's support, those early days, they just would not have happened. Thank you to the USSSA National Office staff. You guys are amazing. You're always there for me, no matter how many questions I have, especially with my great computer skills that really don't exist. You guys have been there to help me all the way through. You are just fantastic. Special thank you to Lori for all of her time and effort in putting this gala together. Thank you, Lori. Sometimes I ask myself, why do I continue to do what I do? And after some of the tournaments I've run, I really ask myself, why do I do what I do? And the answer is really quite simple. I love it. But more importantly, I truly love the people I work with here in USSSA. We are a family, and when we come to this convention, it's like a family reunion for me. And I thank you all for that. Special thanks to Mr. Rick, John, Dale, for all your friendship and support. To my New York USSSA family of directors, who are always there for each other, David, Gary, Eddie, Demo, Bob, thank you. Over the past few years, I've been fortunate to be able to bring 3 outstanding young men into our New York organization to run leagues and tournaments in slow pitch, fast pitch, golf, and baseball. I call them my 3 sons of Metro Long Island. I care for them deeply, and their being here tonight means the world to me. Ray, Mike, and Vinny, thank you. Don O'Reilly, one of my special go-to umpires, is here tonight, and I thank you for everything you've done for our umpires over the years. Your support is tremendous. To Don, my family and friends, and the board, and to everyone here tonight, thank you for this very special evening. It is one I will cherish forever. Thank you.
Our third inductee tonight is in the executive category. He hails from St. Louis, Missouri. He is a man who has dedicated his life to the sporting goods industry, and his name is Mr. Robert Parish. And now I'd ask everyone to turn their attention to the video screens so we can learn a little bit more about Robert's incredible career and his many contributions to USSSA and the game of softball.
Sports has always been really important to me and my family, from wrestling to football to baseball all the way through. And again, I mentioned it before that sports really is inseparable from my person as well as the business side of what we do. When you grow up in a family business, the business becomes your family, and that's how you identify yourself, and that's very much true for Worth. It's been very much true, I think, for the USSSA as well, and I think that's part of the reason that the USSSA and Worth have been so close. We have the same values. We also respect family. We respect tradition. We respect doing things the right way. Back during the early days of regulation in our sport, the USSSA had the vision and the courage to do what they felt is right. They also were very supportive of the brands that support them, and in particular, me and my family. Being inducted in the Hall of Fame really is pretty much everything for me. It's the definition, I think, of true success from the standpoint of being recognized for the work you do. Not necessarily the financial benefits and the gain that you get from the work, but from the quality of the work you do and the respect and the integrity, I think, that goes along with it. So to me, it is the definition of success, is to be recognized by your peers in this way. People I would like to thank the most is, number one, my wife and my kids. As anyone knows, in this industry and professional people spend an awful lot of time away from home, and that's true for me. And my wife has put up with an awful lot, I travel somewhere maybe 130 days a year, and that means a lot of time away from the family and kids, and it's nice to have a supportive wife. It helps me do what I aspire to do. My dad also, I would give him credit for everything I know about business pretty much, and the upbringing he's given me and my brothers and sister. And I think, number one, doing what's right all the time is the thing that I would say that he's provided the most for us.
And now to tell us a little bit more about Robert, I am very pleased to introduce the man who instilled those values and work ethic that have served Robert so well, his father, Mr. Robert Parish, Sr.
I think the video pretty well said it all, but what I will say, it really is good to be back among USSSA friends. Cecil and Jerry Ellis over here and all the, gosh, I could go on and on. It's been a long time. I've been sort of out of this industry for a while. So this has been, Don, a real pleasure to be back among the good USSSA people. Our history, I think it's obviously been said, goes back to 1968, when Bob Mueller, the early first president, and Al Ramsey and Jerry Ellis sitting over there, and Larry Palmer and others who we forged an alliance to address some very serious industry challenges. Both USSSA were emerging organizations in the world of softball, slow pitch softball. USSSA players were being barred from participation in ASA events and denied access to certain public fields. Worth also was outlawed. Worth softballs were outlawed by ASA. Together, this was addressed with the aid of former Watergate attorney and U.S. Senator Fred Thompson. Jess Heald, who is a Hall of Famer, and I met in many occasions in Tennessee with USSSA leadership, and we successfully addressed the challenges of both organizations. Worth and USSSA have emerged as the premier organizations in softball, in addition, of course, USSSA and especially sports. So, Don, I congratulate you and your leadership for I mean, this is amazing. You told me how many teams that you have, and it's incredible. I applaud you. I would like to say, though, Jerry Ellis, there were many nights on these early meetings there in Tennessee when it became time to play poker. And these sessions would go on all night long. And this is the truth. I never was able to get a nickel off this guy. So, Ellis, I hope you give me a chance to get even with you sometime. Reading a resume for Robert certainly would not define Robert. So I will share a few things with you. His start in the industry began at 13 with janitorial services at Worth Bat Company, sweeping floors and cleaning bathrooms. Literally, I mean, this is no baloney. That was his job. He bought and paid for his first four-wheel drive pickup truck at 15 before he had a license. He still has that truck today. His teen years, besides work, consisted of scouting, youth sports, you heard him say, wrestling, baseball, swimming. His Pop Warner coach, I think, probably defined Robert pretty well. He said, you know, kids are better today. This is his coach. This was a championship coach in Pop Warner. He said that Robert really made a difference. He says he's not worried about who gets credit, being team players, and making sacrifices for the others, for something other than self. So scouts outdoors, biking, dirt biking, mountain jeeping, all a big part of his growing up. He was a life scout. Dinner around our kitchen table often centered around what was expected among our 4 kids. And they got tired of hearing it. But you don't cheat, you don't lie, and you don't steal. You make something, do something, and build something. Well, Robert did respond. It was ingrained in he and his brothers and sister that the most important decision in your life is who you choose for a mate. This is probably Robert's greatest success, and that is his wife Jennifer is a good wife. Jennifer, stick your hand up there. And mother, and has fully supported Robert. And of course, to be successful in this industry or any industry, you've got to have a supportive wife. Mac, Will, and Madeline are chips off the old block, and wave your hands there. They are, as I say, chips off the old block. And they are a hugging and kissing family. They didn't get that from my side of the family because a handshake was about the best you got. Robert and Jennifer are raising their kids to be better than they. And I don't want to go out. I've got some stuff about Robert and going up, and I'm going to be very, very brief. But following going to school in the public schools through high school, he was accepted to Vanderbilt, graduated with a bachelor's degree, and immediately accepted right out of undergraduate to Vanderbilt Graduate School of Management, where he graduated with an MBA. He joined Worth in 1990 as a salesman, territory salesman. He kind of moved up by the age of 31. He actually had my job, and I at 31 years old. So in 2003, of course, we sold the company to K2, and he became the president of Rawlings Sporting Goods and the 5 major brands: Rawlings, Worth, Uniform, Select, De Beer, Gate, Lacrosse, and Mikan. And then in Jarden Corporation acquired Rawlings, or K2, and in 2009, he was promoted to the president and CEO of Jarden Sports. I think that's a pretty good 18-year track record. Of course, his activities are, from being community activities, from serving on industrial boards and being a Tennessee Business Roundtable, vice president of a museum, St. Louis. He's been very, very active in scouting, which I am particularly pleased because our family has been a scouting family. In fact, we've got a 4th generation Eagle Scout sitting back there. Mac, wave your hand. I was really proud of Right, Mac. Of course, Robert serves on the National Sporting Goods Association Hall of Fame Committee, and he's also on the executive board of the Sporting Goods Manufacturers Association. Well, his hobby is flying. In fact, his family transportation is an old 1952 Twin Beach 18, so that's his, and he's not a bad golfer. So, Robert, to say your dad and mother are proud of you would be a very understatement. And so it is indeed a pleasure to present our son, Robert. Thank you.
So he obviously didn't see our score after the little scramble we had the other day. I'm a pitiful golfer. And no heckling back there from the Worth guys, all right? Well, thank you, and I want to also say thank you to you, Don, and the USSSA, and to Lori for all the work you've done to put together this great event, and I've really, really enjoyed it. And I want to also congratulate the other inductees. Congratulations, and I'm happy to join you in this honor. I also want to send a big thank you out to my dad, and you know, it goes without saying, I probably learned from him more than anyone else, but also to my mother, who was really the rock of our family growing up. It means an awful lot. My older brother Charles is here as well, and I'll say very simply that he is always there, and for those of you who know someone like that, you know what I'm talking about. That's really important. Jess and Susie Heald, who I worked with an awful long time and were instrumental in helping put Worth on the map. I'm sure I'm glad you're here to celebrate this as well. To Denny Helmig and to Mike Cornell, Tim Lord, to Mark Kramer and Cuz Halsey, glad you guys are here. These guys are solid, and I think you all know that, but they are solid, and I'm very happy to be associated with them. These are the kinds of people that are really, really hard to find, and I appreciate knowing that you always have my back in the best interest of our brands at heart, and that means an awful lot. Well, I guess I'm a good example. If you do something long enough, good things are bound to happen, and because I know it's not talent, it just has to be perseverance, and it's like Cecil Alford said. And, but that wouldn't all be possible if it wasn't for my wife, Jennifer. I appreciate the 20 years you've given to this relationship, and she does an awful lot of work at home when I'm on the road, and my dad's right. It is the hardest and probably the most important decision you'll ever make, and I made a real good one. To Mac, Will, and Madeline, glad you guys are here. You know, Mac's a baseball player, a wrestler, an Eagle Scout, and Will's playing football and baseball and basketball, and Madeline's doing softball, basketball, soccer, and field hockey, the whole thing. The point is that sports have been in my blood, both as a hobby, but also as a profession. From day one, growing up in a house where we were filled with athletes growing up, I mean, I took it for granted. I was sitting in a chair right there, and I've had my football uniform on, and there's Hank Aaron, you know, just standing there giving autographs to those of us just came off the football field. But also with customers and business associates like Don DeDonitis. I learned from that a deep respect for sports and a deep respect for business, but more importantly, a deep respect for the characters that make up this industry. And I think that probably translates to really the two reasons I think I've had the limited success I've had today, and that is that, number one, I learned that I have to live my business, and there's no separation from personal and business. And I think anyone who's had long-term success will probably say that, because business is personal. If it's not going to last. And that probably translates into number two, that we are real. We're real people, and we're authentic. And I learned that from people like Ted Savage. Cecil's write-up in the USSSA magazine mentions Ted Savage. Ted Savage was a longtime Worth salesman, and the first salesman I traveled with. In fact, I dated Ted Savage's daughter. I don't know if you know that. So we kept it close to the family. But I also learned from people like Denny Helmig, who really is a poster boy for the Worth brand and the Rawlings brand, and because you really, really do respect the brand, and you've earned that respect. To Jeff Hall, I mean, the guy still calls me after he does an event. He says, you know, "Hey, cuz, it's Halsey." And I said, "Really?" I had no idea who that was. but he's class act. And to Corny, you know, Corny left us for a few years and went to Mizuno, and he's one of the few people I've ever hired back into an organization, and boy, I'm glad I did, because he believes in me, he believes in the company, and he's true. But also to Donnie. You know, I met Don when he was the state director of Michigan, and I don't really know why we hit it off so well, but you know, we probably couldn't be further from the, you know, on the spectrum in terms of cultural background, but I'm gonna tell you, I don't know why, but I like him, and I respect him. I do know why, but I like him and I respect him. I respect your vision, I respect your ability to get things done, and what it really all boils down to is this is a people business, and these are real people. And just like our brands, they're real and authentic. And we talk about that a lot in our company because authentic and being real is something that's unique and it's sustainable. And there are a lot of brands out there that really want that, and they can't get it because they don't know the core competencies that it takes to get there. This business, there's no place for ivory towers in this business. It's just hard grinding out work, and my team knows that. A couple more things about USSSA. I do believe that USSSA and Don DeDonatis and our teams are cut really out of the same mold. We're both authentic, we're both real, and Donnie, you created this organization out of your love for the sport, and that's where it came from in the beginning. You bucked the simple trends, you bucked the conventional thinking that really has driven many of the other associations darn near to extinction. You held firm when others waffled, and you certainly supported the product's partners when they needed it the most, and we're one of those. David Evall, I respect you for the same reasons, and I think you all know what I'm talking about. At Worth, we're truly thankful for the position you've taken with this organization and with us, and as we look to the future, boy, it's brilliant what you've done, just brilliant, and you have really defined a great success for your future. You have great vision, and really where that lies is with our ultimate customers, and that's the players. You guys get it. You know what the players want, and you know what's driving their decisions. So as a final comment, I want to say that I think my coworkers would say it's hard to earn my trust, but when you earn it, it's there for good. And USSSA and Don, you've earned my trust, and as long as I'm around, and as long as our brands are here, we're going to respect people who, as my dad said, who try to make something, create something, and build something, just as you've done. And I respect your organization. I respect it and what I see in our company, and I thank you for this humbling honor. It really means a lot because it comes from the roots of what's really most pure about this industry, and that truly is the definition of success for me.
Our fourth inductee tonight is in the female player category. She's the pride of Cincinnati, Ohio. She is one of the finest pitchers to ever play the game. And her name is Mary Jane, or as most know her, MJ Rance. And again, please turn your attention to the video screens to learn a little bit more about MJ's celebrated career.
In 1985, we had a team, Northside KSC, that it was just a bunch of neighborhood girls. We all went to the same local schools. We played in leagues together, and we had a pretty good team, and it was an A team. And we went out to Concord, California, and we hadn't done well all year. I mean, we played all the tournaments and everything, and we ended up winning that. 5 games in one day, and back then it was a big deal. Back when we played 16 to 18, the nationals The World Series Nationals were in Cincinnati, the first youth one, and we ended up winning it. And ever since then, I've been playing USSSA. They ran some really good tournaments, and they were in all different cities. We got to go to a lot of different cities because they were all over the United States. And they just ran a really, really good program, and that's, so we just stuck with USSSA. I've met so many people. And I played against all these people, and then had the opportunity to join all these people I played against. And we all became friends from all over the United States. So that's real important to me. Be inducted into the Hall of Fame, I think, it's like I can't say it was a goal because I really didn't know much about it. I went to a couple of conventions before, but I have a lot of friends that are in it, and it really means a lot that I played the top level of ball, and then I had the opportunity to get into the Hall of Fame, and I'm really excited. Who I can thank the most for all this, of course my parents. They've been a big part of my life and my family. I've had some great coaches. I've had, great sponsors, and I've played with all the top players in the country. Missed a lot of family events because of my travel, but other than that, it was well worth it.
And now to tell us a little bit more about MJ, it's my pleasure to introduce her friend, her coach, Ms. Colleen Needham.
It's been quite a year for Mary Jane Rance. She turned 50 and now is getting inducted tonight into the USSSA Hall of Fame. Life is good. MJ is the epitome of a true USSSA softball player. She started in this program many years ago and has won a world championship at a number of levels: youth, B, 35 and over, A, and the World Series. I'm not sure that there are many other Hall of Famers that can make that claim. At every level, she was a winner. MJ started her career in the youth program and progressed at every level because she was talented and loved the game of softball. She loved playing it, watching it, and talking about it. MJ did not just play softball, she made it her passion for over 40 years. And she continues to play today just for fun. Most softball players think about the season May through September. With MJ, it is year-round, and I mean 24/7. We could just finish winning a championship, and MJ was thinking about how we could get better for the following year. Who could we pick up? I often referred to MJ as a softball head. She was a player who ate, slept, and breathed, and talked softball. MJ works as a pharmacy tech at Christ Hospital in Cincinnati. Her job requires her to work weekends, but MJ never missed a tournament because she would work 10 straight days, work double shifts, go in at the last minute, anything so that when the weekends came in the summer, she would be off. One of the MJ moments I remember most was in Columbia, South Carolina. We were playing in the World Series against defending champs and heavily favored Canon Illusions. We were in the losers bracket, so it was a do or die game, with the winner moving on to the championship game. MJ was coming around third, and it appeared there would be a close play at the plate. MJ gave it her all, slid head first, jumped up, pumped her fist in the air as she scored the tying run. We did go on to win and send Illusions packing their bags. Brenda Ryan often tells a story of a play MJ made in the 1985 World Tournament. Yes, the year Northside KSC won. Because Brenda was pitching and MJ was playing outfield. A line drive was hit to the outfield, and as Brenda turned around, MJ was headed towards left center. She made a diving catch parallel to the ground. As Brenda said, a game changer. MJ was a player that loved to play the game. Practice, not so much. But she loved to play. Few players took a loss harder than MJ. She was a player, she was harder on herself than anybody, going over what could have been done different, what she could have done to change the outcome. MJ played with passion, with a chip on her shoulder, and occasional anger, especially if we were in the loser's bracket. But she played with a desire not just to win every game, but to get a hit every time she was up. If she didn't get a hit the first time she got up, she'd just change bats. In fact, many games she used 4 different bats. MJ defensively was a very versatile player. She played in the outfield, pitched, caught, and played first base. MJ could bat right-handed or left-handed, but usually hit right-handed as she felt she could control where the ball would go. She was a gap hitter and a clutch RBI hitter. When Cincinnati no longer had an A team, MJ wasn't ready to hang up her cleats. So she went to Sharks and pitched for them and was the MVP of the 2002 World Series. I doubt that MJ would have ever played for a team outside of Cincinnati if she had had a choice. MJ and I had a good relationship on the field, for the most part. As with any player-coach relationship, we did not always agree 100%. But usually MJ did see it my way, even if it took a week or so. Today, she is still longing to play with her teammates of old, just waiting for enough of them to turn 50 so they can play in the senior program. MJ, no one loved the game of softball more than you, or had a stronger desire to win. You matured into a great hitter, a versatile defender, and an excellent pitcher. You are deserving of this induction into the USSSA Hall of Fame, and I am glad I could be here to share it with you. I present to you Jane Rance.
I don't know what else to say. She about covered my life. You know, everybody around tells me I should probably imagine people in the audience in their underwear, but I really rather not do that because I know people don't wear them. But I just want to congratulate all the inductees, and it's a great honor. And I also want to thank the committee for inducting me and all the guys and girls behind the scenes. Colleen, she did cover a lot of stuff. I'm very honored to be here and inducted, and I have been a part of this organization most of the time, and I don't like blue, so I didn't play any ASA. Maybe one, just because wanted practice. And like she said, I did play against all those top teams, and then I ended up joining them, got the opportunity to play with them, and that was just awesome. You know, it's like, you know, we did lose to them a lot, but then I got to join them, I got to know them, they are normal. And I mean, it's like, you get a little intimidated by them because, you know, hitting them out and over the fence and everything. And most of those girls are in the Hall of Fame, so I'm so glad I know them, and from all over the United States, like she said. My people that influenced me the most, my family and my mom and dad. They're 88, and I know right now they're thinking of, they don't travel well. Their idea of traveling is going to church and to the grocery, so this is pretty far from that. But anyway, also one thing, when I found out about this a year ago, I found out on a Saturday, and a Thursday before that, I found out my brother had cancer, so my emotions were a little, you know, kind of messed up. But he got through it. He's in remission, and he's here tonight. And I do have a group of people that I want to thank you so much for coming down here. And I know there's some people we contacted about being online, and just want to say a shout out to them. And I'm very lucky to be in this organization. I'm very excited to be in the Hall of Fame. Thank you. And by the way, go Bucks.
Our fifth inductee tonight is in the male player category. He now hails from nearby Naples, Florida. He's one of the finest outfielders to ever play the game, and his name is Scott Strebel. Again, please turn your attention to the video screens so we can learn a little bit more about Scott's illustrious career.
As most of us are, we played baseball. We had to find something to fill that void. I had a good friend that talked me and convinced me into playing with him one day, and basically fell in love with it. My journey at slow pitch, again, 18 years old, buddy dragged me out to the field, started playing C-ball. We played C-ball for, I think, 3 years. We won the C-Worlds. That year I was noticed by a AA team, Spectrum Screen Printing. I played from 93 to 97 with Spectrum Screen Printing. 98 was my start of my major career with Lighthouse. Played with them for a year. I went on for 2 years with Dan Smith in 99 and 2000 when we won the USSSA in 2000. And then from then on, I was with pretty much Ag Rismondo work. All my friends and teammates that know me best know that in stats and awards really never meant too much to me. But I look at it as quite an honor to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, you're in a fraternity now. A lot of great softball players. It means the world. Actual people have come into your life that wouldn't have, how many friends you've made over the years and how you're going to miss that. And that's one of the biggest things I'm going to miss is being around all the people. I would thank Jeff Haig for giving me the opportunity to play with Rismondo back in the early 2000s for making that phone call. And thank Travis for all the great years that he kept me around. And Don Niedanatis too for just having a great program, USSSA.
So I have to say that I remember back when I first started announcing at the Major World Series, which was way back in the mid-90s, that there was a team from Minnesota that seemed to kind of overperform every year that was Spectrum that you heard Scott mention. And I remember they had a center fielder that everybody called Billy the Kid, and I assume that was just because he looked like he was 12 and he was really fast. But I also remember all the old guys in the press box would always say, boy, yeah, this kid's going to be really good someday. And so now here we are 2 decades later, and I guess they were right because that was, of course, Scott, and tonight he's going into the Hall of Fame. So now to tell you a little bit more about Scott, it's my pleasure to introduce his teammate, his friend, his fellow Hall of Famer, Mr. Howie Krause.
Scott Strebel. No matter how many times I hear Scott Strebel, it catches me off guard. Scott Strebel just doesn't sound right. I've known Strebe since 1994, and for 20 years, I'm not sure if I've ever heard anybody in the softball world refer to him by his first name. It's always been one of his nicknames, which was Strebes or Billy, so tonight he's Strebes. Like I said, I've known Strebes for quite some time, playing against him for 8 years and with him for over a decade, as well as rooming with him for bits and pieces of those 10 years. So Strebes was not only a teammate of mine, but more importantly, someone I consider a very good friend. As a teammate, Strebes was a very good camaraderie guy. That, combined with his upbeat personality, his loosey-goosey attitude, always helped keep our dugout at ease. Strebes was the king of the one-liners, coining phrases that were loaded, very loaded with sarcasm. Anytime you went up to Strebes and you asked him to do something that he really didn't want to do, he'd just hit you with, how about no? Nobody was exempt. Nobody was exempt on the team, from the coaches down to the last player on the roster. And, you know, if you were going along, maybe you made a couple outs in a row, and this is my personal favorite. If you made a couple outs in a row, maybe you made a couple errors in the same inning, Strebes had a knack, when you got back in the dugout, somehow saddling up next to you, and he'd just give you that little grin, and he'd hit you with, you had a hell of a run. All kidding aside, Strebes as a player was exceptional. He had the skills that baseball scouts referred to as a five-tool player. On defense, he will be in discussions as one of the best center fielders ever to play the game. He had an arm like no other. Players would refer to his arm as a cannon, and along with that cannon, he also had pinpoint accuracy as well. Strebes used to toy with runners. As he would field the ball in the outfield, he'd take an extra crow hop or two, staring at the runners, just kind of daring them to run on his arm. Basically, daring them to run on his arm. Nobody, very few players challenged him, and those who did, nobody had success. As far as patrolling the outfield, Strebes was the man. His closing speed on fly balls was absolutely ridiculous. Countless times playing with him and against him, Strebes would get on his horse, run into a gap, and track down fly balls that were guaranteed doubles or triples, turning them into outs. Strebes would make it look easy. Again, possibly the best center fielder ever or possibly the best ever to step into center field. On offense, Strebes was a dual threat. He always tried to do the right thing as a hitter, what was best for the team. He was an absolute nightmare on infielders. They had to respect his speed, forcing them to play shallow when the whole time knowing a single bobble or hesitation, and Strebes would have himself a base hit. In his prime, Strebes would single, and he could turn that single into double like nobody I've ever seen before, faster than anybody I've ever seen get from home plate to second base. And he always had this unique running style where he never moved his arms. I'm like, how is this guy as fast as he is and doesn't move his arms? His arms would stay down by his side, never move his arms. Just, I kind of referred to it as he would just glide, whether it was the outfield, on the bases, but he was very, very quick, making it look effortless. On Strebes' power, when it came time for him to homer, he had the ability not only to homer, but to hit some creatures. And believe me, when he would hit one, he wasn't shy about letting you know that the ball he hit was just absolutely murdered. So, the power that Strebes possessed earned him a spot on the Easton Bomb Squad, a select group of hitters that traveled the country putting on power displays before major and minor league games, awing the crowds with some of the creatures, and trust me, he'd let you know that he hit them. With the skill sets that I just shared with you, it's no wonder that Strebes was a big factor in his team's success all throughout his career. In a career spanning from 1993 to 2012, Strebes played for the AA Power Spectrum, such major teams as Lighthouse, Dan Smith Plastering, and Rismondo. While with Spectrum, Strebes played a key role in helping his team win back-to-back AA championships, a feat that was never again repeated. Strebes was also instrumental in helping Rismondo win 6 USSSA World Series championships. In winning those championships, Strebes picked up 7 All-World nominations, 2 at the AA level and 5 at the major. Strebes was also a recipient of what I consider the greatest individual award a player can receive, During the 2005 USSSA World Series, Strebes put on an offense and defensive display that was second to none, earning him the honor of being the 2005 Men's Major World Series Most Valuable Player. So still, to this day, when I hear Scott Strebel in the softball arena, it just doesn't sound right. But what is well-deserved and does sound right is Scott Strebel, Hall of Fame class of 2013. Strebes, congratulations. Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Thank you for that, Howie. That was very touching. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the inductees of 2013. I don't know all of you. I did get a chance to play with Larry Carter in the early 2000s with Haig. Many battles against Timmy Coco in Gene Shop. Dwayne, I believe you've struck me out quite a few times, so thank you for that. Back to Howie. Like you said, Howie and I have known each other since 1994 when he was with Haig. I was with Spectrum Screen Printing. We had quite a few battles, man. We were talking about one just last week. We were playing in Salt Lake City, Utah. Score was like 75-73. 4.5-hour game till about 3:30 in the morning, which will bring me to the first thank you of the evening. Thank you, Don Sr., for changing the home run limit. As it made for great stats, in my opinion, it made for some pretty boring games. So thank you for that, Don. Howie and I got together again, like he said, back in 2001 and played together for quite a few years. And thank you again, Howie. You've been a great teammate and a great friend. My senior career, or my major career, didn't start off very well. It was a little shaky, as Cecil Alford and Jackie Hayes could tell you. Jackie called me in early 1998. I got the chance to play with Lighthouse, Cecil's last year. Got to the tournament, I believe it was in Savannah, Georgia. Rooming with Dennis Mendoza, who's with us tonight. Got to know Dennis a little bit. We went out to eat that night. Scott Elliott invited us to go out drinking that night, which was probably a pretty good idea. You know, new guy. Go out drinking on your first weekend. Sounds like the right thing to do. Well, we rolled into the hotel pretty late that evening. Had a game Saturday at, I believe it was 9 a.m. Dennis and I woke up about 9:20. And those of you that know Cecil Alford know that didn't go over too well. Dennis and I looked out in the parking lot, all the cars were gone. And threw our unis on, ran to the field, and I don't remember, everything blends together, but must have had a pretty good weekend because Cecil kept me around, so appreciate that, Cecil. Thank you very much. As Howie said, 99 and 2000, I got a chance to play with Dan Smith, and in 2000, we won our first USSSA World Series. I believe it was the first year in Disney. You can never replicate that feeling. It's something incredible. In 2001, I got a call from Jeff Haig. It's kind of a funny story. He calls me up, "Hey, Strebes, what are you doing next year?" We had just won the World Series. I said, "Well, I think I'm playing with Dan Smith." He said, "Well, that's not what I heard." Okay, so I put a few calls in. I called Mr. Smith. I called Jerry Backman, no call back. So I called Jeff Smith, AKA Jeff Hall at the time. He had told me that, yeah, you know, we decided to go a different direction. I guess fine by me. It turned out to be a pretty good decision to go with Rismondo. We won a few championships after that. I believe, like how he said, 6, something like that. I don't remember. I guess I'd like to start thanking the committee for even thinking of me. It's a great honor to be standing up here tonight with all these great people. I especially like to thank Don Sr. You've done a spectacular job with USSSA, man. I've been playing it since C-ball, 1989. The U-Trip has gone leaps and bounds. I mean, you've done a fantastic job. I'd like to thank my teammates for the most part. I don't think I'd be standing up here tonight if it wasn't for my teammates. Donnie Jr., Andy, Howie, us four really were the main cog since '94. A lot of other great players were with us. Rusty, Jeff Wallace, you guys know most of them. Like to thank some of my coaches and teachers, Gary Jost, Teddy Larson, Steve Stinsky for giving me my shot with Spectrum screen printing. Jackie Hayes for making that call to me in 1998. Thank you, Jackie. Cecil for hanging in there with me, man, in '98. I appreciate it after the rough start. Jeff Hagg for making that call to me in 2001. Frank and Cheryl Webb, especially. Those of you that have had a chance to have them on your team, you don't even realize what they do for you. It's phenomenal. Thank you. Travis Resmondo, thank you for the 12 years. It was awesome, man. Not only do I consider you the best sponsor that I've ever played for, I can honestly say that you're a great friend and will be with me for the rest of my life. Thank you to my family, my daughter. Thank you for letting Dad have some time off on the weekends, although you did rack up quite a few frequent flyer miles yourself. My wife, my rock, I love you. Thanks for putting up with everything. I appreciate it. Thank you again to USSSA for considering me. I appreciate it. It's been a hell of a run. Thank you, guys.
Our sixth inductee tonight is also in the male player category. He hails from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. His name is Larry Carter. Now please turn your attention to the video screens so we can learn about Larry's many exploits on the softball field.
Getting into sports was a natural thing. When you come from a family of 10 brothers and sisters, and your dad was an all-state fullback, tennis player, basketball, baseball, and your mom's a basketball player from the town he grew up in, it was a natural thing. Mom and Dad got us into all kind of sports, and one thing led to another, and you start playing, and you know you're good at it, and you just keep playing and keep playing. You start playing for the love of the game. The U-Trip was an organization for me when I first started playing, because the way they let the pitchers react on the mound, they're doing their dancing around, I loved it, because they're trying to throw you off, and they throw a class act. They put on some of the best tournaments the world's ever seen, and Mr. Dionatis has done a great job in doing that. So, but U-Trip is overall the best sanction of softball out there. There's so many moments that I'm proud of. We'd be here all night. As far as a ball player standpoint, I'm very proud of winning the '93 World Major Series with Belcourt, and it was won on a walk-off home run by Todd Gerling. That was one of my top moments in softball, and as far as a personal standpoint is me actually winning home run title at the World Series. Being one of the first African Americans to do that is a great honor. I'm more proud of the person that I became and still am when I started this game, and when I finish it, I hope I'm still the same person. And that's somebody anybody can walk up and talk to, and not, Mom and Dad always told us, you're better than nobody because you can hit a ball further than anybody, but that don't mean you're better than anybody. So I hope I leave that with this game.
So it's interesting that Larry talked about that 1993 World Series when he was with Belcourt, and it ended with a walk-off home run by Todd Gurling. I've heard that somebody else hit a walk-off home run in '93. Don't remember much about that, but maybe the guy who's coming up to introduce Larry will remember something about that. Here to introduce Larry, one of the guys who grew up playing ball with him in the backyard, his brother Joe.
Larry was always chasing after me, so he couldn't do it. Thank you very much. I've known Larry DeMauro Carter for 51 years, 2 months, 18 days, and 7.5 hours. And when I found out that he was going to be elected into the USSSA Softball Hall of Fame, you know, he said that he wanted to have someone that, you know, introduced him that he had known very well, that knew of his exploits in the game of softball, been around him for a long time, and someone he looked up to. So he asked Jeff Smith to do it. Jeff couldn't do it, so I'm filling in for Jeff. But one thing that I love about Larry is, and he made that statement that, you know, who he was when he started the game and who he is once he finishes the game. I don't know if he'll ever be finished playing softball, because I think he's going to play to about 70 or 80. He has that ability. But one thing about being a Carter is we love to have fun, and it shows whether we're talking to someone out in the audience, whether we're on the playing field, whether we're in the dugout, it doesn't matter. We all have that same disposition. And it's because when you grow up around a big family, there's a lot of great moments in there. You know, the reason why I knew how many years he's been here is because he ruined my parade. Because I was born after 5 girls, so I was number 8 of the bunch, and I wanted to be an only child. And see, being the son, you know, after 5 girls, I was pretty special. And then he comes along. So I had to treat him like a big brother is supposed to do. So I saw Larry play a lot of softball games, and I see him diving in the outfield. You know, here this guy is about 6'3", about 275, and diving for balls in the outfield. I said, that looks like he was doing when we were in the Carter backyard on 51st Street as he was diving for all the balls that I was hitting, because I never let them hit. I always hit first, and I always hit last. I made them play defense. Joe did not want to play defense, and so that's how he got so good in the outfield. But I'm very proud and honored to be here, because he's always lived in my shadow, and everywhere he went, it would always be, this is Joe Carter's brother. This is Joe Carter's brother. I think one time he told someone his name was Larry Joe Frederick Carter, because that's our other brother, Fred. And I got a chance to see him play, and he came to Toronto. And, you know, I'd seen him hit a softball a long way. I saw some video, and, you know, he's hitting balls. You know, it wasn't about him hitting a home run. He didn't care how far. He didn't care if it was a home run. He wanted to see how far he could hit it. I mean, 300 feet, he didn't care about that. He wanted to try to go 400 feet. And so he's in Toronto in the Sky Dome, and of course, they're like, who is this big guy? And, you know, they're throwing softballs to him, and he's hitting them in the second deck. Now, it's tough enough for me to hit him in the second deck, and he was doing it with a softball. And, you know, I can say that, you know, that was a proud moment for me, because no longer was, you know, with Joe Carter's brother, I'm like, you know, I'm Larry Carter's brother. You know, it made me proud as a brother. And we have that camaraderie where we can, you know, not see each other for a while, but it's like we never missed a step. And for him to receive this honor, I'm so proud. I am so thankful. I am grateful for all that he has done. And it is, you know, like I say, he's lived in my shadow, but now he no longer has to do that, because now he casts his own shadow. And now I have to live in his shadow. So it gives me great pleasure and an honor and a privilege to introduce the 2013 USSSA Hall of Fame to my little brother, the lovable Larry Carter.
Yeah, oh yeah. By the way, it was the fifth deck, not the second. Let's get that straight, big bro. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Dionatis for making me a part of this great celebration, and the job that you have done is outstanding. You put on a class act, and I've always told him I call him the Ebony Man of the Month. Now, Ebony is a black magazine, if you don't know that. Because every time I see him, he's dressed, he make me look bad right now, okay? I want to thank the organization, the USSSA organization, for allowing me to be an inductee and induct me into this Hall of Fame. I want to thank Otis Brumfield, who worked tirelessly to make this possible. When I got the call a year ago, well, when I got the call before that with Otis, that he said he was going to work to get me into the Hall of Fame. And when I did get the call, and I started telling everybody, all I ever heard from everybody was, what took so long? Well, I'm not worried about that. I'm still here. My heart's still beating. I'm here. And I'm glad I'm here, and it happened while I was here. Even though I do wish my dad was still alive to be here to see this, but I know he is. If someone is missing a Pepsi and a chocolate donut from your table, that's probably him. I played this game for the love of the game. I didn't play it for the attention. I tried to stay away from attention because of him. I couldn't go anywhere. I mean, from the first 2 or 3 years that I played, he was right. All I heard was Joe Carter's brother. I thought I was Joe for a minute, and that's all I heard. And gradually, as I played and got better and better, it went from Joe Carter's brother to Larry Carter, Joe Carter's brother. And then it went to Larry Carter. You know, Joe Carter is his brother. So, and when you start getting that respect from the guys that you play with, that's when you know you're there. And I knew I was there when they started calling me by first name basis, and I started putting up good numbers. My mom and dad, bless their souls. I wish mom could have been here, but she was feeling pretty ill. My mom told us, like I said in the video, that just because you're a better athlete than someone, it doesn't make you a better person. And I live by those words. I try to be the best person I can be at all times, respect everyone. And as playing in the game, I tried my best to enjoy the game as much as I could every time I stepped on the field, because if you don't realize it, it can be taken away just like that. So whatever you do in life, enjoy it. Let's see. I was going to read this, but I've kind of messed over it now. I want to thank Rick Broadstreet. He was the guy that first got me into softball. And I still want to kill him sometimes. This is what happened. They talked me into playing a tournament. I didn't know anything about softball. We go out to the ballpark. My first at bat, I hit a home run, bomb, about 315, okay? And the umpire calls me out. Well, I look like a black George Brett running up to this umpire. What in the hell are you calling? What do you mean out? We were playing D-ball, believe it or not. Then we proceeded to lose our first game on a Saturday morning. We started now. And we played 12 games straight. As you guys know, that can happen. Well, after the last game at probably 3 o'clock that morning, I kind of threw the bat and glove and truck in the back of the truck, and I said, man, I'm never playing this stuff again. I can't even walk, hell, let alone. But you know what? When Wednesday came around, I was calling him, begging him to play another tournament. And it just went from there and just got crazier and crazier and crazier. You know, it's amazing when God has a plan for you, because I know without him, I would not be here today. especially with softball. But when I look back on my career, I can see how he took me through different steps of my career to get me where I am today. And I thank him from my heart for it. It's a great honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, something I never thought would happen. And it has, and I'm definitely appreciative of it. And once again, Mr. Diamandis, thank you. If there's anything I can ever do for you, you let me know. If you need a suit, well, I can't help you there. You look better than I do anyway. But congratulations to everybody on the board, and thank you, and you guys enjoy your night. And in remembrance of a friend of mine from Detroit, John Anderson, who passed away, better known as Soup. I played with him for a couple of years with the Pace team out of New York City. In those words, remembering him, don't judge a person on their imperfections, judge them on their possibilities. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Hit one out this time.
Our seventh inductee tonight is in the umpire category. He now hails from Orlando, Florida. He is Mr. Dwayne Posivich. I again draw your attention to the video screens so we can learn some more about Dwayne's long and respected umpiring career.
Growing up as a child, Dad got us involved in Little League. He was one of the coaches. They taught us sportsmanship, teamwork, and how to play well with others. I started at USSSA in the early 80s through word of mouth. Somebody told me about the organization, and I was very fortunate to find that and have a short career as a softball player. USSSA is the greatest association in the country. It's the biggest, it's the best. Thousands of great people, friendships made, a very family-oriented association. I've been fair, honest with all of my calls throughout my career. It's a big change to be umpiring as opposed to playing. Try to do your best as a player when you're part of a team as a player. As an umpire, they put you in charge of the game. A lot of pressure, but it's something we thrive on, the pressure. Induction into USSSA Hall of Fame is the biggest honor there is. It means everything to me. It just shows me that many people have noticed something I've been able to accomplish and are rewarding me for that love of the sport. I need to thank my UICs in my career. Back in the starting days, Mr. Tom Addies, and since the year 2000 here in Florida, Mr. Rick Robertson. Gentlemen gave me the love of the game, taught me what I know today, and they're the reason I am here.
Over the years, it has been my incredible privilege to get to know Dwayne, particularly as a member of the umpiring crew for the conference championships and the World Series, and that steady demeanor and sense of fairness have never wavered. I'm also fairly certain that for most of the players who are here tonight, that the number of words that they'll actually hear Dwayne say will be more than they've ever heard him say on the field. He is definitely a man of few, but very powerful words. So now to tell us a little bit more about Dwayne, his friend, the USSSA National Umpire-in-Chief, and the fellow Hall of Famer, Mr. Rick Robertson.
Well, I don't know how much Dwayne will love me after this evening. We have strict orders. We're supposed to be short, so I'm going to try to work on this pretty quick. But it's a privilege and an honor for me to talk on Dwayne's behalf. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate all the inductees tonight. I'm going to give you some unknown facts about Dwayne. We all know that he's umpired in 14 Men's Major World Series, but his nickname's Drano. We call him Drano. He drains the putts on the golf course. His other nickname was ZBF, Zero Body Fat. Literally, this man does have to jump around in the shower to get wet. I had three roommates this year. Dwayne and I, of course, room most of the time, but I have Dave Kassouf, who gets the coffee percolating at 5 o'clock. I don't drink coffee, and then the TV and the lights are on, so I don't get any sleep. Lee Eggers, he gets up about 5:30 and goes to find a Dunkin' Donuts. Dwayne, on the other hand, sleeps like a zombie. We've had to leave him at the hotel before in Columbus, Indiana, because he didn't get up. Him and I stayed in the, I guess it was a jail, and they told us it was haunted. It could be, so we're sleeping at night, and Dwayne, he's sound asleep. Of course, I'm a light sleeper. And I hear, hey, he's sleeping. He doesn't wrinkle the sheets, people. I'm telling you, the man does not wrinkle the sheets. And a little bit later, I hear, hey. Man, I get up out of the bed, I'm looking out the windows, I'm checking under the beds. He hadn't moved. So in the morning, man, I didn't sleep 3 minutes. It seemed like I get up, Dwayne, we gotta go. Dwayne, let's go, we gotta go. He hasn't moved, the sheets have not been moved at all, and then he's gotta get up and he's got a primp. He's longer than any woman I've ever seen, my God. We left him there, we had to go get him. It's unreal. He is absolutely the perfect umpire. You can't find a guy any better than Dwayne, because you know what? He doesn't see anything, doesn't know anything, doesn't hear anything. I will promise you this. We were at the Music Cities a couple years ago, and the catcher got angry. He slammed that ball on the plate about 30 feet in the air. After the game, I said, Dwayne, did you see that catcher? Who? When? Dude, if you can't see that, you got no business. Dwayne, you can't umpire. Seriously, you didn't see him? He goes, no. Men's Major World Series fellow Hall of Famer Frank Webb. You remember a few years ago he liked to get that dirt and sprinkle it on home plate? Dwayne, you see Frank? When? You're telling me I said, good God, Dwayne, seriously, boy, you got to. And that's my best friend. Dwayne, poor guy, I swear to goodness. Oh, and you know, Dwayne does have the smoking habit. We're at the Smoky Mountain Classic, go figure. Dwayne, gets through with the game, he's standing there about a fence, and he's getting him a little drag on his cigarette. One of our umpires says, Dwayne, Mr. Rick says you can't smoke on the field. Hell with Mr. Rick. Ask Dwayne about a rule book. Dude, when's the last time you read the rule book? Why I gotta read a rule book? It will help you, Dwayne. He's the one, you see umpires were supposed to get it right. Don says, don't take all that time when they're supposed to get a call right. Well, don't ask Dwayne. Dwayne's gonna say, it all depends on how you ask me. Dwayne, all they did was ask you, did he pull his foot? Well, it depends on which question. Forget it, Dwayne. We don't want to ask you, brother. We were also at the Dudley here a few years ago. I was running around the country in a wheelchair because I messed up my ankle. or my heel, that's a different story. They probably don't need to share tonight because my time's limited. But, you know, here's my best friend. He's pushed me in and out of the airport, so we go to eat at Pittsburgh Blue. Nice restaurant. Well, I got a curb right outside the restaurant there, and then it goes right into a busy thoroughfare. Well, Drano's pushing the wheelchair, but all of a sudden he got a light of cigarettes, so he lets go. He goes, and here I go right off the curb. Boop, boop. And he goes, oops. Kevin said, I mean, he's a man of few words. The dude don't sleep. He doesn't say anything. But I will tell you this. This man is in a number of Hall of Fames, and some of them I'm going to share with you right here that you may say, how do you see he's in that? But he is a member of the Michigan USSSA National Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame for friends. There's no better friend and loyal friend than Dwayne Posivich. I promise you that. He's a golfing partner, a friend. Him and Anna play together all the time against me and Linda. Of course, we win. Me and Linda did, his wife. Because Linda's real good, just like Don said. Not me. Golf is his passion, and he loves to play golf. He's a Hall of Fame son. He's got some great parents. My gosh, his mom and dad. We all call him mom and dad. He's a Hall of Fame brother to his brother Doug. His kids, he's a Hall of Fame father. He's also now, most importantly, a Hall of Fame grandfather. And they love those grandbabies. It's a privilege and an honor to share the fun times. It's also a privilege and honor to present to you the newest member of 2013 class, the USSSA National Hall of Fame, my friend, Mr. Dwayne Posivich, who I love as much as anybody on this earth. Drano!
Oh, that was quite the roast. Thank you. I'd like to thank Mr. Don Didinatis and his family, the executive board of directors, for this fantastic honor, and congratulate my fellow inductees tonight. Many years ago, I embarked on a journey into the world of umpiring. Had a game doing regular C-ball and called in the office, and my boss said, hey, we need you to do the open league down in Diamond 3. So I head out there. First inning goes by, 9 runs are scored, 23 minutes have gone by. I've figured out a way to alienate myself from half the people in the ballpark and can't figure out why. That was my indoctrination into the wonderful world of professional softball. And through the years, I've tried to treat everybody with respect. I've had a few good people tell me that if you treat people with respect, that respect will come back to you. And it has, manyfold. I've been proud and privileged to be a part of the USSSA, which I had said on the video is the greatest family in sports for so many years. And as I look around the room, so many friendships have been made, so many great stories to tell over so many years. And I'm proud of all those memories. The opportunities that have been given to me have been many. I've been able to see the country and be with the greatest softball players the country has to offer. Just to be a part of that is a huge honor. And I thank the USSSA for that honor. I'd just like to say some personal thank yous to my mom and dad. We can pick our friends. We don't choose our families. Thank God that I have the family I have. And just a side note, my mom and dad will be celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary come February. It's a great testament to love and family, and I love you both very much. To my mentors, like I said on the video, Mr. Tom Matties in Michigan and Mr. Rick Robertson since the year 2000 have taught me the meaning of softball, what it is to be fair, what it is to love about the sport. They give their heart and soul and all of their knowledge in hopes that we learn something from them. And hopefully I have and done them proud. And my fellow umpires, my teammates, I've been blessed with the best crews I could have ever have thought of being with. And the gentlemen here tonight, all of them gave up time with their families to come out here and celebrate this evening with me. Your current World Series umpires, Doc, Tony, Jason, Ken, Rob, Lee Edgars, Mike. I'm very proud to serve with you gentlemen, and it's been an honor. Hopefully we have a few more years to go. I'd also like to thank the military, if I can, all the dedication and their personal sacrifices to give us the opportunity for our freedom and to do what we are doing here tonight. I thank them very much. To my golf partner, Ms. Anna, I thank you for all the Kodak moments you've shared with me over the years. It's kind of a joke around the house. She's got a running video in the kitchen on her computer. And Mr. Rick says, there's probably 1,000 pictures on there and 995 of them are for you. Yeah, so, I love you. You hold a special place in my heart. To my children, Jason and Kelly, we had you at a ballpark since you were that big. And I just want to say I'm sorry for all the times we've missed that were special, but you know where I was. I was working with my other family, but I do love you both, and I'm very proud of both of you. And especially to my wife, Linda, my beautiful wife, Linda. You've been with me for 27 years now, 27 beautiful years. You've been my rock. You've always been there for me. And I think I love you the most. It's just to be thought of with so many great people, softball greats, is just amazing. But to be enshrined with the elite of the USSSA softball is just an unbelievable honor, and I thank you all very much.
Our 8th inductee tonight is in the male player category. He hails from Independence, Kentucky. He's one of the finest power hitters in the history of the game, and his name is Tim Coco. I again draw your attention to the video screens so we can learn about Tim's incredible softball career.
Well, I started getting involved in sports through my uncle, actually. I was raised by my grandparents early in life. My father was in the Air Force, and he was big into baseball and basketball, so he's the one who spent the time out in the yard with me, throwing, catching, shooting basketball and stuff like that. The first transition into USSSA was pretty tough. I went from playing with a guy named Red Moore, who's actually now big in the USSSA. He played ASA in Kentucky circuit, so I played there for the first 2 years of my career. Then when I went with Jeff, it was pretty tough. Like I said, it was from going from that high arcing pitch to a pretty flat pitch. But like I said, still to this day, I love it way more than the other sanctions. Probably the most memorable one's definitely win the 2002 USSSA World Series, for sure. Sports has impacted my life professionally, and the biggest way is it's just a competitive drive. You know, with work, it makes you competitive. With everything I do is competitive. It's just been a huge influence. It keeps you very well dedicated, great work ethic, because if you don't put the time in, you don't get better. I think sports is great for everybody. Like I said, it's a great work ethic. It's a great teaching you dedication, teamwork. I mean, I just think it's a great, I hire people now, and definitely I look more at sports people because it's a great quality, I think. I mean, it's a huge honor. It shows that all your hard work of hitting out in the wintertime, in the snow, I mean, getting up in the morning time, hitting before work at 6 if it's daylight. The first year I started playing actually on a super team at the super level and being competitive and carrying my own weight. Like I said, it's different to play up there and do okay, but when you play up there and succeed and do well, it's gratifying. Like I said, it definitely makes you know that all your hard work paid off. If you didn't play with great teams, you don't get recognized, so it's a great achievement, though. I mean, I'd like to thank my family, first of all. I got remarried 5 years ago, and the best 5 years of my career have been the last 5. I mean, it helps to have a supportive wife. When you got 6 kids at home, it's not easy to leave the house. As far as sporting-wise, Bill Dennis is a guy that pitches to me. If it's raining, he'll pitch. If I got a hit, he comes to pitch. Also, obviously, all my sponsors. I mean, without this sponsors in this game, it's not a game. I'd like to thank Don Dionatis, actually. He's very big in keeping the super game going. Nobody else has a super program. I mean, I know he gets ridiculed, but to me, right now, he's the biggest thing in super softball to keep it going.
And now to tell us a little bit more about Tim, I am pleased to introduce his fellow Kentuckian, his fellow Hall of Famer, one of the finest gentlemen in the game of softball, Mr. Hank Bassett.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm going to break off here just for a second. I got here this evening and sat down at Tim's table and discovered we had a couple of special guests tonight that I hadn't expected to be here. A lot of you in here, especially the players and those in the manufacturing sector, remember one of the best players in the game that we lost unexpectedly about 15 years ago. And tonight we're honored to have his wife, Chrissy, and his son, Dirk Jr. And I'd like for them to stand and us give them a USSSA welcome. I want to add my congratulations to tonight's group of inductees, all of which are most deserving, and my thanks to the association once again for having done such an outstanding job in honoring all of those who they have chosen to be a part of this Hall of Fame. Our next inductee is a fellow Kentuckian who excelled playing basketball, football, and baseball, playing for his local Simon Kenton High School in Independence, Kentucky. He went on to play baseball for Northern Kentucky University, and thereafter began playing the slow pitch game over two decades ago in 1993. He began with a local team, which he mentioned in the video, at that time, Red Boys, out of Verona, Kentucky. He then moved on, played with another Kentucky team, Planet Softball, during which time he received his first significant honor as the slow pitch player, being named the Kentucky Co-Major Player of the Year, along with the now deceased J.C. Phelps. In '95, he moved up to the major level, played for R&D under Cobby Harrison's managerial reign. Over the next 4 years, he seasons, he played for Jeff Haig's team, and you'll hear Jeff Haig's name a lot, and you'll hear Travis Rismondo's name a lot, because those gentlemen have had a lot of outstanding ball players to help bring them up to the major level. Thereafter, he played for Bell, Budweiser, Chase, and Sunbelt. He played with Dan Smith from 2004 through 2006, and back with Belcor in 2007, and then with Long Haul in 2008. Over the past 5 seasons, he has played with the Gene Shop team. He began as an outfielder, incurred a knee injury, and developed into one of the game's most potent left-handed power hitters, amassing one of the game's largest number of home run championship titles in tournaments, along with being named the offensive MVP several times in numerous USSSA tournaments. He won the Disney World Series Home Run Championship 3 times in a row, 3 times in a row, hitting monstrous drives over the first and second wall at Disney. While with Shop these past 5 seasons, the team was classified as A, which limited the total number of home runs the team could hit, but he nevertheless was his manager's choice as the #1 guy on the team who would always swing away. In the 2012 season, despite playing under his team's A home run restriction, he managed to set a new conference high in total home runs and runs batted in, and was named the Offensive Player of the Year in the conference USSSA. His manager, Larry Quartuccio, or Larry Q, as everyone knows him, said, "He was my #3 hitter, the guy I expected to hit home runs for us, and my biggest problem was finding a good enough hitter to bat behind him and protect him so the other team would pitch to him. We wanted big numbers out of him, and that's what he gave us." During the 5 seasons he played with us, he had 18 conference tournaments in which he hit 10 or more home runs in the tournament. At one of them, he drove in an astounding 54 runs, 54 RBIs. He had that hitter's mentality that he didn't like to walk, averaging barely a walk a weekend, but he could flat out hit the ball with anyone. Teams he played for accrued 13 world championships, and he was named All-World 27 times. Prior to becoming a part of the USSSA, when I was representing Louisville Slugger as their slow pitch marketing manager, I was fortunate to have him swinging our bats. Over the 21 plus years I was with H&B, Tim was among the best power hitters we had representing the company, and that encompasses a large number of some of the game's greatest. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the USSSA's next Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Tim Coco.
All righty. First of all, I would just like to say what a huge honor it is. Like I said, it's been a long time, 20 years. It is a huge honor. I'm truly blessed. To me, this is the greatest thing in softball. It's the greatest league in softball. I'd like to personally thank you, Don. Seriously, you run a great program. If it ain't for him, we don't have a program. Like I said, the people I'd like to thank, first of all, is my family. I like my wife, Destiny, to stand up. Like I said, I have 6 kids, and I leave, and when I say 6 kids, they got 5 kids staying the night with them. So we're talking 11 kids. And when I call her Friday night, she says, "How'd you do? Did you win?" Like I said, I truly love her, and it ain't a coincidence. I've had a very supportive wife the last 5 years, and by far the best 5 years of my career. I do love you and thank you. As far as coaches, I've had great coaches. I was taught at a very early age, 5th grade basketball. I had a coach, we won 37-35. He was 78 years old. I had 35 of the 37 points, and we're walking out of the Jim, and he says, that's why you win. You have teamwork. John scored 2 points. I was like, so that would hit home early. So, and they also made me not be a ball hog the next 3 games. So, but like I said, my thing is I want to thank all my teammates. I played with numerous Hall of Famers, but honestly, in my career, I would rather play with 10 great teammates than 10 great ball players. It just seems like it gets lost a lot, but this day and time, I mean, I remember so much more the teammates than I do the great players. And I hope I leave that as one of my legacies for sure. Also one of the things I want to thank most of all is the sponsors. I mean, people don't realize what these sponsors do. I mean, I'm playing with one right now, Greg Blackburn, that whatever extra money he has goes to the game. They give their hard-earned money to play the game, and like I said, they paid me to play a game that I love. I'd like to name all of them. It'll probably take a while, but Greg Blackburn, Jeff Haig, Travis Resmondo, Greg Hutchinson, Frankie Summerlin, Wayne Williamson, Jerry Backman, Bill Taylor, Red Moore, Pat and Herb Price, Jim Wessel, Woody Bell. I feel I played with by far the best sponsors in the game. I mean, awesome. I'd like to greatly thank Brett Helmer, Hank, and Dennis. Without you guys, like I said, you've been great to me. Easton, Louisville Slugger, this will be the first Worth I've ever picked up, and I hope I love it. But I mean, I've been with them guys they've been so loyal to me. Awesome. Like I said, it has been a great experience for me. I want to give back as much as I can to everybody. My plan is to spend more time coaching with the kids and mentoring other young athletes to show them the love and the passion for the game. The main thing I want them to realize is that it doesn't matter where you come from. Anything is possible if you want it bad enough and try hard enough. So like I said, thank you, and I'm greatly, greatly honored. And like I said, Don, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Congratulations, buddy. Good job.
Behind you, Tim. Good, buddy. Good.
Appreciate it.
Our final inductee tonight is in the executive category. He is from Berlin, Maryland. He is one of the genuinely nicest men in the game, and he is Mr. Bob Holland. Please turn your attention to the video screens. We can learn more about Bob's great contributions to USSSA, the state of Maryland, and the game of softball.
I got started as I was playing softball, and I eventually got into playing and coaching and sponsoring the same teams I played for. And we needed a way to raise some extra money besides our sponsorship money. So we started running events, and happened to be started my first event with USSSA. Eventually I became state director of Maryland and Delaware. And then a few years ago, Don appointed me a VP of the Atlantic Division. I love being around the game. Even when I go to the game, I pick up a bat. I feel like I want to get back at there and play. It's been a great ride, and it's not over yet. But I mean, to think I started out as a player, and then today I'm going in the Hall of Fame. It's unbelievable. An old saying my father told me a long time ago when I just started playing. He said, "You're never going nowhere in that game." He said, they throw it too slow. You're never going anywhere. And he was right. Probably I wasn't going anywhere as a player, but I got doing directing. And to think an old farm boy from the country would be standing here, it's just unbelievable. First and foremost, I would not be here and would not be able to do what I do without my wife, Carol. She's my number one. I mean, she should probably be standing here, not me. She works endlessly with me. I couldn't do it without her. Just like to thank all the sponsors, players, coaches, all of my directors, all the people in the Northeast, the Atlantic Division that have helped me along the way. just the list goes is endless. You know, I can stand up here for hours naming people, but you know, it's just everybody. I'd like to especially thank my two sons, Robert and Joey. I missed a lot of their stuff by being away directing tournaments on weekends, but I just want them to both know that I love them and I thank them for helping me along the way.
And now to tell us a little bit more about Bob, his good friend, Mr. Tom O'Hara.
This has been a great evening, and I'd like to know what the under and over is for this evening. I heard it was 17 minutes or so I'm going to do my... Yeah, look, the guy's going last. He told me he was going to poke me in the side with a pen.
My music.
Yeah. So, but I want to welcome everyone here tonight. And I was walking up here, I couldn't help but think of the many times I've sat out there where you're all sitting at the awards banquet and hoped that this would be a short evening. I'm certain when I walked up to the podium, anybody that knew me got up and took a bathroom break or got in line and got a stiff drink. But let me assure you, I'll be as brief as possible while giving my very good friend Bob Holland the proper respect and the recognition that is due to the newest member of the USSSA Hall of Fame. I would like to begin first by congratulating each person that has been inducted and awarded the highest possible honor that USSSA can bestow on any one individual. It's the accumulation of a lifetime of hard work, dedication, and commitment not only to our organization, but to the very heart of our passion, and that's the game itself. Congratulations to each of you for not only talking the talk, but walking the walk. I'd also like to thank each USSSA member, Hall of Famer here in attendance this evening for your leadership over the years and showing us the way in building an organization that has continually proved itself able to stand the test of time. We all owe each of you a debt of gratitude. I first met Bob 35 years ago when both of us not only played softball in the USSSA in Maryland, but we both became area directors for USSSA at probably around the same time. Within a month or two, we both got appointed as area directors. Bob had a passion for slow pitch softball, and it showed. The types of teams that he put together, he had mentioned that he enjoyed playing the game of softball and he sponsored the game of softball. Bob put together teams, R.W. Holland Construction, the Purple Moose Saloon, and Bull on the Beach. These were a few of just the powerhouse teams that played at the very highest level that were available to us in the good old days. Bob and I had both been appointed area directors, Bob in Ocean City, myself in Anne Arundel County, and we were mentored by a gentleman by the name of Jim Ports. He was the Maryland State Director at the time, and Jim was also an executive vice president, a board member, and he's also a member of the USSSA Hall of Fame. An outstanding softball man, Jim's responsible for both Bob and I's involvement in the organization, and we both owe him a debt of gratitude and heartfelt thanks for seeing the potential in both of us at that time. As I mentioned, Jim is a Hall of Famer, and today Bob joins him in that very exclusive club. As a small note, and as a matter of record, being from Maryland myself, I can proudly say that every Maryland State slow pitch director since the founding of this organization is a member of the USSSA Hall of Fame. There have only been two, and it just shows just how sound and consistent the program is. It speaks volume to the leadership that both Bob and Jim have provided over the years. Very few people have had the opportunity to know Bob Holland that I've been blessed to know and honored to call my friend. I'd like to take a moment to introduce a few folks that have guided him and influenced him to become the man that he is today. Several members of Bob's family are here today. Bob's the son of Kenneth and Joretta Holland. Mr. Holland is no longer with us physically. but I'm certain he's here in spirit, and he's smiling with great pride and sharing in our celebration of Bob's accomplishments. Not only with USSSA, but as a husband, a father, and a person. Mrs. Holland, I would like to recognize you and your husband for raising such a fine person and a good man. I'd also like to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come down your property and hunt in the fall and the winter time. I've never had a chance to tell you that, and I'm trying to get over 17 minutes. I would also like to acknowledge Bob's sisters, Sandra, at Deborah Wells, Janet Miller, who were unable to attend this evening's ceremony, but it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce Bob's year-round staff, who also double as his ground crew, his tournament directors, his merchandise sales team, his concession workers, his right-hand men and women. These are the people that are most dear to him. So I'd like to take a moment to recognize you. Bob's sons, Robert Jr., Joey Lessman, Bob's daughter-in-law, and Joey's wife, Renee. Bob's also a proud grandfather, and his granddaughter, Lily, is here this evening with us as well. Bob has two lifelong friends that traveled from Maryland to be here with us this evening, and Doug Tarr, who's been friends with Bob for 45 years, and another good friend, Mike Dill, are also in attendance this evening. I personally have had the opportunity to work for some of the game's finest individuals, many of which would sit in this very room this evening. I can honestly say that I don't know of any person who works any harder, who's more dedicated or committed to his job and to the game of softball for the USSSA than Bob Holland. Well, maybe one or two. In an effort to make this short, I'll take just a minute to share several things with you this evening regarding Bob that helped form my opinion. Bob lives in a small town of Berlin just outside of Ocean City, Maryland, on our eastern shore. Ocean City is the host of some of the largest events on the East Coast and is a full-time job just managing that within itself. On any given weekend, there are many events scattered around the state, and Bob routinely attends every one of these tournaments, spending countless hours driving thousands of miles, spending many nights in hotels, to ensuring that USSSA program is properly represented. Bob's also a member of the Maryland Softball Hall of Fame and a proud member of the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Softball Hall of Fame. Both of these organizations recognize individuals for no particular association or affiliation, but recognize and honor individuals based on their contribution to the game of slow pitch softball and are chosen by a committee of their peers. Bob's also been recognized by USSSA and was elevated to the position of the Vice President of the Atlantic Coast Division. True to form, Bob religiously and routinely travels throughout the summer up and down Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, attending the events, scouring the areas for potential area directors, and visiting most of the parks along the way. His dedication and commitment are unmatched and truly second to none. Here are a few facts that you may or may not know about Bob. Prior to heading out to visit one of his many events throughout the state on a given weekend, Bob still takes care of his own field maintenance. He goes out, hops on his tractors, cuts his own grass of the 1 or 20 or so fields that he has. He drags these fields as well. Then he takes off, hits the road. In my 35 years of knowing Bob, be it whether on the playing field or directing events together, we've done that in high winds and driving rain. I've never seen Bob's hair messed up. I've never even seen him comb it. I've never seen a single hair out of place. And I notice things like that myself now. But Bob is always impeccably dressed, and there's never a paper out of place on his desk or his office, and he's extremely organized. Likes to have a beer or two, and he's a rabid Ravens fan. In addition to his duties and responsibilities, Bob owns and operates R.W. Holland Construction and still works in that business every day. It's an amazing story. Several years back, Bob was cutting a piece of plywood with a circular saw, and it just happened that the saw jumped, and the saw came back and hit Bob in the stomach and cut him up pretty good. Amazingly, Bob got into the truck and drove himself to the hospital, got stitched up, and was fortunate enough to go home that evening. That weekend, Bob being Bob, he hopped in his truck, drove 2.5 hours back up to Baltimore to visit one of the tournaments that was being played up there. He ended up back in a hospital. He busted his wound wide open. It was a crazy thing to do. But like I said earlier, I don't know anybody that's as committed to Bob, as committed as Bob to his duties and responsibilities. As it's the case with all the inductees who have come before you to accept the highest honor that USSSA can bestow on an individual, no one can honestly say that they have earned this honor and this recognition without the help and devotion of others. And such is the case with Bob Holland. Of this I'm certain, Bob will not be standing before you this evening without the help and devotion of his wife, Carol. To say that behind every man is a good woman is an understatement in this case. In many cases, while Bob is off tending to many other events around the state, Carol's back. She's not at home. She's out running tournaments. She's as good as any state director that we have today. She's definitely the rock behind the man. If there was ever an instance that begged for a shared award, a co-Hall of Fame recognition, this would be such a time. Bob's truly blessed and lucky to have a very special woman by his side. She's kind, she's caring, but mess with Bob or a member of her family or argue with her about a ruling, she will handle you in a New York minute. Now it's time to hear directly from the man himself. I consider it an honor and a privilege to have had this opportunity to introduce to you a man that I love like a brother. And he's a true gentleman. And he's also the newest member of the USSSA Hall of Fame. That's Bob Holland.
I think everything's been said already. So it shouldn't take me too long up here. First, I'd like to congratulate all the other inductees on this great honor of being inducted into USSSA Hall of Fame. First, I would like to thank Don and the board for nominating me for this great honor. Where do I start? Well, it's been 37 years ago since I played my first game of softball and fell in love with this great sport. I played in against a lot of great players in Maryland and across the country. I can remember playing against Jeff Hall when he was a 19-year-old snotty-nosed kid in Virginia Beach. How I became a director. The team I played for had a limited budget, so we started running a few events each year in the Ocean City area. Started with 4 or 5 first couple of years, and it turned into running events every weekend. Still playing, and then taking on the job of coaching. I must have been crazy. My highlight as a player and coach was coming in fourth in the 2005 A Worlds in California. I had a privilege, and this is probably something that a lot of players don't have nowadays. I got to play with 8 of the same people for 12 years, a nucleus of a team. Well, let's get back to being a director. This opportunity has kept me around a game that I love and has given me the ability to meet a ton of great people in this organization and around the country. Without a lot of these people along this way, I would not have been possible. So I would like to start off by thanking all the sponsors, teams, and players that have played in my events. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to thank the manufacturers, Combat, Coop, Johnny, Brownie, and Mike, Louisville, Hank Bassett, Dennis Turner, Mick Pileggi, Worth Sports, Denny Helmick, Mike Cornell, Jeff Hall, and a special thanks to Tim Lord. He's the first guy I ever bought balls off of. Easton Sports, Brett Helmer, and to all the other manufacturers, if I've missed somebody, that helped me out along the way and that has helped USSSA become a great organization. Special thanks to these following people: to Don Dionatis, Tom O'Hara, Jim Ports, Jim McCarron, Robert Boudreau, Danny Brown, Kevin Negley, Mark Linneman, Jim Swimp, Jerry Turnberg, Jerry Ellis, Al Ramsey, John Pond, in guiding me to this great direction, and also Tom Turley and David Evall. To all the VPs that I work with, thank you. Rick Robertson and John Hart, thanks for all the clinics you've done and all that you do for USSSA. And I can't leave these three guys out. My New York connection, Gary, Bob, and Demo, great people. I can remember one Thursday evening, I was short of umpires before an NIT, called Gary, Demo, and Bob. They showed up on Saturday morning, and that's an 8-hour ride. To all the recreation people and directors and maintenance people, thank you. I could not have done it without you. To all the state directors in the Atlantic Division and the Northeast Division, thank you for your support. A couple of other friends that came tonight, thanks for being here. Mike Dill and Doug Tarr. Doug has worked for me for a long time, but he's more like part of the family. I would like to thank my mother for all her support over the years and all my sisters for just being there if I needed them. I love you all. One person that could not be here is my father. He passed away way too early. But in my heart, he is always with me. He was the greatest father and the biggest influence in my life. My sons, Robert and Joey, thanks for being there by my side every time I needed you. As your father, I could not ask for two greater sons. My new daughter-in-law, Renee, and her daughter, Lily, for jumping right in like they've been here forever and working at the fields. And for Robert's girlfriend, Maddie, for helping when she's not working or going to school. I love you all. Not too many fathers can say this, but I won a USSSA World Championship in the Masters program, and my son at 13 also got to win a USSSA Baseball World Championship, and that's something special. Dreams do come true. And let me finish with a few words about the love of my life, Carol. My wife should be up here with me. Without her working and helping me do all the things I need to do, I would not be in this position receiving this great honor. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I love you. This is a family organization, and I am happy to say that my whole family is involved in my dream. And again, thanks for the great ride to all my USSSA family. Thank you.
Good job, buddy. You did well.
We've now inducted 9 new members to the USSSA Hall of Fame. Please join me in one more collective round of applause for this great class. Next up on our agenda tonight is the presentation of the 2013 Assistant Executive Director Awards. To present the first of these awards, it is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Danny Brown, the Assistant Executive Director of USSSA.
Thank you, Jeff. Jim and I each have the envious responsibility of selecting an individual who excelled in 2013. This year, a year where participation in world and other tournaments was significantly up, the pool of candidates was that much larger, in turn making our selection that much more difficult. While this year's recipient was not only strong in 2013, but during most, if not all, of his 30-year career with USSSA as a player, director, and now administrator. Now, after working a week on this speech, I'm going to tear it up. Bob Holland, could you come up, please? Because I can't say anything else after Tom O'Hara. The only thing I want to ask Jornetta, his mother, what was his birth weight? Almost 8 pounds. Well, he grew a little bit bigger. And do we like the word moose, Jornetta? No, we don't like moose, do we? Everybody else does. Majority rules. Thank you, Tom, for helping my speech out, and I want to congratulate Bob right here. Thank you, Bob.
And now to present the second of the 2013 Assistant Executive Director Awards, delighted to introduce Mr. Jim Swint.
I would like to begin by saying thank you to all of the people that were the presenters and the inductees. We had a little spiel over here. I noticed the people came up with well-prepared notes and speeches to, I believe, make this probably a record with the number of people that we have inducted as far as time is concerned. As Danny said, it's tough. I look out here, there's a huge crowd of people, all very deserving of being selected. I get to pick one, and so here goes. Many of us in this room, whether it be in baseball, softball, basketball, soccer, etc., any of our other sports, got into USSSA by having been involved with some other organization. In my case, it was ASA. The recipient for 2013 for the Assistant Executive Director of the Year also started elsewhere. This person became involved as a coach. A lot of you did that. Helped organize leagues. A lot of you did that. Signed kids up. Did some umpiring. I never did that. And helped run tournaments once his sons were old enough to play in their local Little League. As he became more and more involved, he took on the responsibility and served from 1998 to 2001 as the president of his community's Little League organization. Once his own sons' teams became highly competitive, they started winning state championships, and this was under the banner of AAU. During that time in the early 2000s, this director started traveling to out-of-state tournaments, and he found a liking for USSSA baseball. In 2004, he was approached and started running USSSA sanctioned tournaments. In 2005, he became the state director for, and that first year in his state registered 86 teams. That number has now grown to 735 teams in a state that is fairly far north and without a huge population. Today you will find USSSA tournaments being run every weekend with virtually no other sanctioning bodies in his state still in existence. His success did not go unnoticed, and he was soon named as a USSSA baseball vice president. He has become an integral part of baseball leadership and has now taken the lead in developing and overseeing the global baseball program. In 6 short years, global baseball has grown to approximately 30,000 teams. 2007, this USSSA diehard was named USSSA National Director of the Year, and tonight it is my honor to award the 2013 Assistant Executive Director of the Year Award to Bob Egger, USSSA Baseball Vice President and Iowa State Director. Bob.
Holy crap. First of all, congratulate all the inductees tonight into the 2013 Hall of Fame. Well deserved. Yes, I was with Little League for a long time and AAU for a few years. I think in 1998, I heard about a tournament in Kansas City, and I took my older son, he was 11 at the time, we went to Kansas City and went to this tournament, and we got our butts kicked. It was Rick's USSSA tournament, and from that day on, I had a love for USSSA. And I was lucky enough, fortunate enough to get the job with the state of Iowa. I want to thank Don and Jim and Danny for the opportunity. I want to thank Joey Odom. You're a great guy, great advice. A lot of time I spent on the phone with you. But most of all, I'd like to thank Wally's brother, Rick. Rick Fortuna. Rick Fortuna has taken me under his arm, has done a lot for me, and I truly appreciate it. My business nowadays is a family business. My older son, McDowell, he works for me. He's my accountant, just graduated. So if I get audited, you probably won't see him at any more conventions. And my wife, Lisa, The Rock, she's actually does all my awards, so she's actually my trophy wife. So thank you.
That's a good one, dude.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, buddy. I want to make sure.
It's now my pleasure to introduce our host for the evening, the Chairman of the Board and Chief Executive Officer of USSSA, Mr. Don DeDonatis, for the presentation of the 2013 E.A. Ramsey CEO Award. Don.
Thank you. Now the final award of the evening, the E.A. Ramsey CEO Commitment to Excellence Award. This award is presented by the CEO to any individual that has provided outstanding service above and beyond the call of duty to USSSA or national headquarters. This person must have assisted the CEO or national headquarters with a special project or helped develop new technologies, ideas that have a significant impact on the way USSSA does business, and one who exemplifies leadership and teamwork. Have spoken many times this week about the great strides we have made, the growth of programs, and the future of USSSA. These two award recipients, yes, I said two, are individuals I believe in, leaders in their sport, and have the vision for the continued success of USSSA. The first recipient has become a leader of the pack, stepping up and taking on the challenges and headaches involved in being a USSSA vice president takes a special individual. Even though it's exciting to be chosen, it can be very often exhausting and overwhelming position, and even more when you are so young. He began his career with USSSA in 2005 and quickly rose to the top and has made his state program one of the top in the nation. But never one to rest on his laurels. He continued to present new ideas, recruit new people and organizations in an effort to expand his sport, all the while seeing the big picture and having the vision and the same goals to succeed and put USSSA on the map. Ladies and gentlemen, the first recipient of the E.A. Ramsey CEO Commitment of Excellence, Vice President of Fast Pitch, Jeremy McDowell.
job, buddy.
Wow. Thank you. I'm very humbled. I'd first like to, I guess it was Wally that gave me a shot back in early when I was about 25 years old, and baseball, and said, you can go get him, youngster. And I don't think he really had any idea that I would do anything out there at the ballpark I was at. And I thank you, Wally, for giving me that shot. Also, Mr. Tom Turley for 2007, at 29 years old, being able to look at me and take me in as a son and as a business partner. And I've learned so much from your mentorship and leadership, and I can't thank you enough. And then also to my lovely wife, that is the rock of our family. And we got 5 kids, and she's a grandma of about 5 weeks ago. So I love you. And once again, thank you to USSSA and the leadership and Don. And can't thank you guys enough.
The next honoree, I could literally say he has grown up right before our eyes. Learned this business the hard way as a player, state director, vice president, and board member. Over the past several years, he has continued to take on new challenges and roles as USSSA continues to grow, affording me the opportunity to continue to build relationships and take USSSA to the next level. He was instrumental in the creation of the Conference USSSA program and has become an important resource in maintaining its continued growth and success. He has provided great insight and leadership in the new USSSA All-American Showcase program. In addition, he has taken key aspects on the recruiting and management of our NPF champion USSSA Pride. He is a quiet leader and a team player. When a fellow softball player passed away unexpectedly a few years ago, he came to me to ask if he could establish a Conference USSSA award in his name, the Glidewell Award. It's one of the most respected personal awards given each year at the Conference USSSA Awards ceremony. Don't let that nice guy act fool you. On the field, he's as competitive as they come, a trait that he finds great joy in reminding me of daily, and I'm proud to say it comes by naturally. I'm very proud of him. To give me pleasure to proud to present the second award, Ramsey, to Don DiDonatis, the third.
Well, that was definitely unexpected. And as you can probably tell, these last couple days have taken its toll on me. Maybe a few too many drinks and not enough sleep. I barely can talk. But like I said, obviously I appreciate this award and honor. Obviously getting the opportunity to work with my dad on a daily basis is something you could only dream of. To have the opportunity to go to work every day, with something that you enjoy and love to do is truly a blessing. So I'd like to thank the board, everybody involved, and like I said, just watching this organization grow and head in the right direction, and the future is so exciting. So I thank everybody.
It takes many, many people to make this thing work all week. And without the sponsors and the special people at headquarters and everybody, I have to thank everybody here. I will do that, and I will get into next 2014. I'd like to say a few closing remarks, and then I want to turn it over to Jeff before it's over, so won't be too long here. But anyway, for tonight's Hall of Fame banquet, Worth and Crown Awards, thank you very much. Diamond Sports, Easton Sports, Gulf Shores and the Orange CVB, Jenkins Insurance, Dalt for the VIP dinner the other night, Visit Kingsport and Play Tennessee, the golf tournament, Lee County Sports Authority for the Monday night reception, Lexington County Recreation, the Louisiana Association of CVBs for Exhibitor Night, Memphis CVB, the Overland Park CVB, Panama City CVB, Westgate Resorts, and Wacomico Recreation and Parks Tourism for the Director's Luncheon. Let's give those sponsors a huge, huge hand, please. Our national headquarters staff, Kristen Bedard, Kelly Burke, T.R. and Wendy Brockwell, Steve Saluk, Stacy Hobbs, Garrett Jablonski, Tom, Matt, and Christian O'Hara, Paul O'Leary, Stephanie Taylor, and a real special thanks to Lori Timmons, who set up all the meals, all the rooms, and everything for the whole week. Let's give Lori a hand, please, and everybody else. Our Sergeant at Arms, Julie Rodriguez from New Mexico, Ed Dunn from New York, David Brasher from Louisiana, Tate Shetterly from Colorado, and Billy D. Austin from Arkansas. Thank you for serving us in the open meetings. Jeff Brown, our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. That voice here, he does a heck of a job, does all our World Series. Jeff Brown. And a special wife to my thanks, wife Sandy here, who basically puts up with all the travel and people coming to the house and spending all the nights and taking care of the board members when they come here. Special thanks to Sandy. I'm going to give you the date for next year. As we are November the 16th through the 22nd. We're at Champions Gate Omni in Orlando. And you know what that is. We're there. It's Disney party. All families which come next year. We'll have a Disney function on Wednesday with all the characters and a wiffle ball championship, and we'll be defending our title next year on Tuesday night there if you want to get in. Hall of Fame inductees for 2014. In the male category from Arkansas, Bobby Hughes. In the male category from Georgia, Carl Rose. Female category, Tina Mae Tuck from Indiana. The manager category from South Carolina, Coy Honeycutt. The umpire category from Maryland, John Dye. The executive category from Michigan, Tony DiDonatis. The executive category from Arizona, Doug Stark. Special category from Illinois, Ken Franzine. Sponsor category from Arkansas, Chris Walker. And Chrissy and Dirk Jr., it looks like we'll see you next year for the last inductee in the male category is Dirk Androff. Let's give him a big hand, 2014 inductees. I stand before you ready to close this evening reflecting on an amazing year and only beginning to imagine what the future will bring. What a brighter look to a year ahead. I'm excited and ready to take on the challenges it will bring and ask each of you to join me and pledge you to do the same. With each Hall of Fame class induction, I see the rich history of USSSA unfold and the growth and experience of our association spread across the nation. I continue to be humbled by your trust and dedication to the vision we began with some 46 years ago, and I look forward to what each new day will bring. Thank you for joining us all tonight, and may wish you the first happy new year and a prosperous new year. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a very, very special evening. I'd first just like to make a couple of announcements. First, again, if all of the new inductees could, after the event is completed, head down to the Everglades room, which is just down the hall. There'll be a private reception there and a chance to take the pictures of you as the newest members of the Hall of Fame. To make that event very special, all of the other Hall of Famers who are here with us tonight are encouraged to join the new inductees in the Everglades room so you can welcome them to this very, very special club in a very, very special way. We look forward to seeing everyone next year at Champions Gate, as Don said, nearby in Orlando. And with that, I thank you all for a wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the rest of your year. And we'll look forward to seeing you all again on the softball fields and back here in Florida for next year's National Convention and Hall of Fame. Thank you very much, and good night.
Good job. That went well. That went well.
Good job, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on over there and join. Toto.
That tonight's gonna